Thank you so much for joining me here today, Alyssa Arundel, for our May 2020 tarot card reading. I'm really honoured that you're spending your time with me here today, and for this month's reading, in ordinary circumstances, I'd like us to delve more into our relationships, into our finance, into our career. But the current climate really is dictating a lot of decisions we can make and a lot of things that we can do, and so because of this coronavirus, I thought that this month we could look more into our internal being and more about our spiritual path, more about our self-development. And that might sound a little bit boring to some of us, but really that inner journey, that inner dialogue is really going to help us navigate forwards in our lives. And so that is the intention that I'm putting onto the cards for this month. So without further ado, let's get into this month's reading to see what it holds for you.
Hello Leo, and welcome to your month of May tarot card reading. We're going to have a look at what your present situation holds for you at the moment. So the card that comes up for you is the Ace of Wands. This is a card that has come up for quite a few signs this month. It's a card of innovation, invention, new ideas. It's about having challenges but having come through them. It's about cutting through illusion, and it's just a brilliant card of brilliant ideas and really knowing what you stand for. So I think this card for you, Leo, coming up in your present situation is a fantastic placement. What's blocking you here is the Ace of Pentacles. So on the plus side, I think one way it could mean that you have the finances to fund your brilliant idea. On the more negative side, it could be the opposite. It could be that you haven't quite got the resources you need to make your ideas come into fruition. That could be frustrating you a little bit, but I think with two aces coming up here, it really is a time of fresh starts for you, Leo. I think this month is going to give you so much new energy, even in the current climate, even with us experiencing what we're experiencing. I don't think it's going to hold you back from coming up with new ideas. The next card here is the card that your life is built upon at the moment. It's a foundation card. So I feel like there has been some criticism thrown your way. Perhaps you've been getting into clashes of ego with people, and this card can sometimes represent siblings or family. So it could be that there's been a few arguments. It's nothing terrible. These are, family arguments that can feel bad at the time because, none of us like to argue with people close to us, but it's something that can be overcome. So I do feel there could be some disharmony in your life at the moment, Leo, but I think it's just important to remember that this too shall pass, and not to get too hung up on the details of who said what and where it all went wrong. We have here, as your past situation, the Knight of Swords, very fast moving energy, not really being able to catch your breath. This could be your life changing overnight, and perhaps it feels as though that has done. Maybe the pandemic has had a lot to do with that, or it could be some other influence in your life, but something has come in, changed your world completely, and you're getting used to a new way of being, I feel, when this appears. The card here that's spiritually influencing you is the Emperor. This is a card of following the rules in some way. It's about order, it's about structure, it's about discipline. It's very Saturnal. It's very much about focusing on what needs to be done. It's a Capricorn card. Maybe you're the one that's having to dish out a bit of discipline in your family or in your workplace, or maybe you're the one that needs to have a bit more discipline to get a bit more structured, especially perhaps if you're working from home in some way. It's about balancing these things. You just got to be a bit more authoritative this month. I feel like usually you may have this bubbly energy, which is wonderful, but you've got these ideas that you want to implement. You've got these new things that you want to push forwards with, and for people to listen to you, I feel like you're going to have to sort of shout to be heard almost. The card in your immediate future, though, is the World. What a fantastic card to come up for you, Leo. The World really is when the major arcana tarot journey ends and a new cycle begins with the Fool. So this is a culmination of all the things you've been working on. I feel like it could be, it can be the end of anything, you know, it can be the end of a relationship, it can be the end of a job, but it doesn't mean that it ends completely. It's just the end of it, a one way of being. So it can be that these little bits of arguments open up to a fresh start. So these could actually be a blessing in some ways. Your state of mind here, Leo, is the Queen of Cups. I feel like there's almost this maternalness that's come out in you. It's almost like you've gone from your fiery self to wanting to be a bit more in touch with your feelings in some way. It's a sensitivity. You might be feeling a little hypersensitive. I don't like using the word oversensitive because I feel that always sounds like a criticism. And it's like, you know, sensitivity is a gift. It really is a gift. Empathy is a gift. It's something that we should treasure and not something that we should disregard. So I say hypersensitive. You could be feeling like things are closing in on you a little bit and you just want some more freedom. You want some more, you want to be able to do what you want to do. I feel here with your outside influence, you've got the Three of Wands. This is very much a card of travel. It is a card of friendships in a lot of ways. It is a card of business. We see here like a boat in the back, so perhaps you're getting itchy feet and you just want to break out a bit more. Perhaps isolation is driving you insane at the moment. Perhaps you had plans to relocate or to move home in some way or to start a new job, and it just hasn't happened because of, you know, the situation that we find ourselves in these days, which nobody could have really foreseen how it would affect us all. So I think for you specifically, Leo, it's you may have felt a lot of disappointment lately. You've got here though, in your hopes or fears, the Sun card. You couldn't ask for a better card. This is you, this is fire, this is sun. This shines a light on any negativity in this deck. So this is something really that we can celebrate. And your outcome here is the Five of Cups. I think it was Cancer that had this card as well. It's about not crying over spilt milk. You know, these 3 cups are gone. They've fallen. Something happened to them. There is no point in just staring at them when you have these 2 other wonderful options right in front of you. Now, this does not mean that you don't that you're not allowed to grieve for something you've lost. Of course you are allowed to grieve. That is absolutely essential. But there's a difference between that and kind of clinging on to the past too much. So, you know, just to recap here, you've got some wonderful ideas. You might not quite have the resources to go for it right now, but you're putting the plans in motion. Could be some arguments with siblings or family, but I think you're going to overcome that if you show a bit of authority and discipline. You've got a fresh new start with the world coming up. You're getting more in tune with your feelings. There has been some disappointment over things that haven't quite panned out, but the sun is shining on this month for you. And I feel with a few tweaks here and there, you can really achieve a lot more than you perhaps thought you could.
Thank you so much again for joining me here today for your monthly reading. I'm really honoured that you spent the time with me. If you would, again, like to check out your free 3-card tarot reading, you can find the information in the description box beneath this video, as well as your own one-to-one personal reading with myself or even with Patrick. So until we speak again next month, I'm sending you many blessings and keep safe and